Question. Ali thinks that an ordinary annuity with a cash flow of 10,000 for each of 6 years is more attractive than annuity due with a cash flow of 9,000 over the same period. Assume that Ali can earn 15% per annum on his investment. On a purely subjective basis, I repeat again, subjective. Which annuity do you find more attractive? For subjective basis, both you can accept both either answer. Ordinary annuity of 10,000 provides an additional 1,000 per year in cash flow. This will probably outweigh the benefits of the longer compounding period of annuity due of 9,000. Annuity due of 9,000 earns an extra period of compounding period, which should outweighs the benefits of the additional cash flow of 1,000 per year from ordinary annuity. In this case, without any calculation, both answer can be accepted, for it is on subjective basis. Okay. Based on the future value of each annuity stream, is Ali right? Ordinary annuity, the cash flow occurs at the end of the period. So it does not have any cash flow at the beginning. But for annuity due, the cash flow is at the beginning of the period. So it does not have cash flow at the end. Ordinary annuity with a cash flow of 10,000 from each of 6 years. So its PMT is 10,000. K is 15%. N is 6. Find FVA. Future value at the end of 6 years, FVA. Use this formula. Substitute the figures in. Refer to the table. Make sure you get the correct table. Next, we find the answer. We know K. We know N. The intersection is the answer. Substitute the answer from the table. And we find FVA. Annuity due with a cash flow inflow of 9,000 over the same period, which is 6 years. PMT 9K. Take note, this annuity due, if you realize that the inflow occurs at the beginning of each period. So if you compare the two timeline, it here starts at 0. Okay, and the last one do not have any inflow. K equals to 15%. And 6. Find FVAD. Future value at the end of 6 years. FVAD. This is the formula for annuity due. Take note. Okay, there's a difference here. It's additional bracket 1 plus K. Substitute the figures in. Refer to the table. Make sure you get the correct table. Next, we find the answer. We know K, we know N. The intersection is the answer. Substitute the answer from the table and get the figure here. The answer for FVAD. Based on the future value of each annuity stream, is Ali right? Ali is wrong. Annuity due of 9,000 is more attractive because its future value is at the end of 6 years is greater than the ordinary annuity of 10,000. The benefits of receiving cash flow at the beginning of the year more than offset the fact that cash flows are $1,000 lesser than the ordinary annuity. The high interest rates of 15% added to the attractiveness of annuity due, as cash flow earns these high rates of interest for an extra year, thereby enhancing its future value. Question. Will the answer to B be different if Ali is able to earn only 5%? Take note, this time around there's a change here. It's only 5% per annum on his investment. Support your answer with calculation. Now we'll find FVA if K equals to 5%. Ordinary annuity with a cash inflow of 10,000 for each of 6 years. PMT is 10K. Take note, this is ordinary annuity. It occurs at the end of each period. K is 5%. N is 6. Find FVA. Future value at the end of 6 years, FVA. We use this formula. Substitute the figures in. Refer to the table. Make sure you get the correct table. Next, we find the answer. We know K. We know N. The intersection is the answer. Substitute the answer from the table and we find FVA. Annuity due with a cash inflow of 9,000 over the same period. PMT 9K. Take note, this is annuity due. It occurs at the beginning of the period. K is 5%. N is 6. Find FVAD. Future value at the end of 6 years, FVAD. This is the formula for annuity due. Please take note, there's a difference here. At the additional of bracket 1 plus K. Substitute the figures in. Refer to the table. Make sure you get the correct table. Next, we find the answer. We know K. We know N. The intersection is the answer. Substitute the answer from the table into the question, into the working. And we find FVAD. The future value for ordinary annuity is higher than annuity due. Yes, the answer is different. as in this case. The ordinary annuity is more attractive. Ordinary annuity, the cash flow occurs at the end of the period. So it does not have any cash flow at the beginning. But for annuity deal, the cash flow is at the beginning of the period. So it does not have cash flow at the end.